everyone. I hope you can see me okay. It's Lauren here from the Milky Tee Company. If you've not watched our channel before or you don't know who I am the founder of the Milky Tee Company, and yeah, you may also see the lovely Holly, who often pops on here as well, who is our social media manager. So it's nice to see a few people are watching. It is working, because the last time I did this, I was talking to myself and I actually hadn't gone live. So I'm glad that people are watching. I hope you're all having a good Friday. Please feel free to leave any comments below. Let me know what you're up to. Is it sunny where you are? Are you getting outside today? I mean, it's sunny here. I'm in Kent, although originally from Northern Ireland, as you can probably tell. But yeah, in Kent today, the sun is shining, but it could still do with being a bit warmer. But anyway, what we are here today to do is, I'm very excited because today we have an amazing guest on chatting to us today, and it is Sarah from LDN Mums Fitness, or London Mums Fitness. So she is a fitness expert, and she specializes in women's fitness and also nutrition, and she knows lots about sort of postnatal and prenatal exercise and nutrition. So I'm going to be chatting to her. I've asked you, oh hi from Australia, that's amazing, lovely to have someone from Australia watching. But yeah, so I'll be chatting to her in a little minute. So if there's any questions that you have about any postnatal or prenatal questions, anything about, are you pregnant? Do you want to know about any certain exercises, things that you should eat? Or maybe you've given birth recently and you're trying, you're struggling with exercise or knowing what you can do. So please feel free to ask any questions as we go along, and I'll try and go through them all. Also, over the last few days, I've asked people to share some questions, so people have been sharing those with me. So I'm going to try now and add Sarah. Hopefully she will be, there she is. Let me just see if I can, I've just requested her that she will be able to join in a minute. Sarah, if you're there, hopefully you can join. If you have any issues, just write a little note in there. But, yay!
We did it!
Hello!
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's so lovely to have you on board, and have you on my channel, because I spoke on yours a couple of weeks ago. So we've done a little swap. So hi, sleep like a baby. Nice to see you. It's lovely to see everyone joining us.
It's so lovely.
Sarah, I mean, I gave a brief introduction there, but can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about your background? And
yes,
how you got
absolutely.
into
Of course. So yes, I'm Sarah Campus, the founder of London Mums Fitness, and we are a holistic wellness solution, enabling women to make health their priority and giving it the first step. So I'm actually a mum of two. I've got two boys. One is 2 3/4 and the other one is 13 months. So he was born during the first lockdown. So I did have a lockdown baby, which was nerving, I have to say. It was very different from my first, especially being the first lockdown, knowing what you what the rules were, because masks weren't in then either. But it was whether my husband could be with me or not. It was all very crazy. Anyway, we digress. But yes, so London Mums Fitness has been going for about 6 years now. I'm a huge fan of fitness all my life. And for me, when I had my boys, just before starting, just before I had my first boy, it was all about, I just wanted to ensure that I could stay strong and healthy for me and for my baby throughout my pregnancy. And whilst I was pregnant, I had so many people question saying, are you really exercising whilst you're pregnant? Are you really lifting weights whilst you're pregnant? Surely you should be relaxing. No, no, no. You are just pregnant. That's all you are. You haven't got a disease, you haven't got an illness, you're pregnant. It's the most incredible thing. I loved being pregnant. I had, I had really good, both my pregnancies were great, which I'm really grateful for. But every pregnancy journey is different. And for me, it's London Mums Fitness is all about encouraging mums to maintain their health and keep their health a priority whilst they're pregnant. And then once you've had your baby, knowing what you can and can't do once you've had your baby. And so once you're postpartum, the most important thing that I really want to like get across is when you're postpartum for life, not just the first few weeks or months or years. It's your postpartum for life. So you've always got to do those pelvic floor exercises. You've always got to work on your core and things like this. And it's knowing what you can and can't do. And there's such a lack of knowledge, and it's just wanting to give that knowledge to people, what you can and can't do. You know, the things that you can and can't eat as well. But I really, really am a huge, you know, I'm so passionate about the fitness side of things as well, and just guiding women through their journeys through our means. You know, we have our group training, we have our personal training, which is one-to-one, virtual and in person. We have our on-demand platforms as well, and on nutrition. But yeah, so that is what London Mums Fitness is all about. I'm just a huge, you know, and just showing that you can exercise with your children around. Both my boys don't go to nursery. They're with me the whole time, 24/7. And it's showing that you can exercise with your children around. And it's about prioritizing your health and knowing what you can and can't do.
Sorry,
So that's it in a huge nutshell.
Yeah, amazing. And I think it's so true with pregnancy. Certainly my first one, I was kind of a bit like, okay, I'm pregnant, I cannot do anything. And I went out for maternity. Sorry, my dog. Postman's just arrived. Perfect timing. The postman's arrived. The dog's going crazy. I didn't think, should I keep him in or should I put him out? But I thought, oh, he's sleeping, he'll be fine. But please, Huxley, come here. Yes, with my first pregnancy, I just thought, oh, I'll be okay.
And how many children have you got?
Just relaxed loads. I took maternity. I went on maternity quite early, and I thought I need to look after myself. But then, yeah, I actually think that was worse for me. First of all, the pregnancy, I felt like went on so long, and then also I just got very bored. And so, what can you do during pregnancy? I'll let you speak and tell people what they can do while I put the dog out because he's going to keep barking. Sorry.
No worries at all. So when you're pregnant, basically, anything that you were doing before pregnancy, you can continue doing whilst you're pregnant. So the most important thing that I would stress to you is definitely don't start anything new when you become pregnant and you find out that you've got a baby. So, you know, you don't want to be starting boxing if you haven't boxed before. You don't want to be starting anything new, basically. That's very important to know. So if you were doing swimming before, you can continue swimming. If you're doing weights before, you can continue doing weights. If you're swimming before, continue swimming. Just don't start anything new. It's also not a time to be getting your personal bests and to be, you know, lifting the heaviest weights, getting the fastest sprint, anything like that. You don't want to be pushing yourself and exerting yourself too much. You're growing a human being inside of you. It's so amazing, but you've got to be listening to your body. That is the most important thing, is listening to your body. So 100%, if you weren't doing anything before, walk. 100% you can still walk. If you enjoy swimming, definitely go swimming, but only front crawl. Only do freestyle, no breaststroke at all, because you want to be keeping your hips in line. You don't want to be opening up the hips, because it will just really help with labor if you have your hips nice and straight, and especially if you've got pelvic girdle pain. You definitely don't want to be doing breaststroke, because you don't want to be opening up and moving those hips into its unnatural position. You want to be keeping it nice and straight as well. So yes, exercising when you're pregnant, 100%, definitely do it. And, you know, just really nice full body movements. So things like squats and lunges, glute bridges are really good, pelvic circles, and just stretching as well is really nice. But we do have a pregnancy home workout guide, which is video led, that guides everyone through their guides them through their pregnancy and through each trimester. Because as you go through each of the trimesters, you've got to make modifications. That's all you've got. That's the main thing you've got to know. So in your first trimester, you can lie on your back, but in your second to third, you shouldn't be lying on your back.
Okay.
So the home workout guide just really guides you through everything, so you can really exercise with confidence and know exactly what you can and can't do.
That's really good to know. So it's kind of like you can still do exercise, but you may have to adapt it for the different stage of pregnancy that you're at. And that's why it's worthwhile speaking to someone like yourself, or some sort of expert in, you know, pregnancy, exercise and fitness, to know what you can do at certain stages. So can you do some sort of exercise the whole way through pregnancy, like right up until, you know, you're 9.5 or nearly 10 months, as I was, because I went 16 days overdue.
Did you really? That's amazing.
I thought she was never coming. I was like, seriously. But I mean, are you able to, even right up towards the end, do some form of exercise? And for that later stage, what would you recommend?
Yes, 100%. You can definitely exercise throughout, and it's encouraged to exercise throughout. You know, you want to be keeping that body moving. You want to be getting that baby into the right position, head down. And by, you know, and so moving will really help to encourage that. So walking in itself is fantastic. Even if you end up with that pregnancy waddle, walking is great, because you're really working with gravity to really get that baby down and out. And it's a natural thing. It's completely natural. You know, we've been giving birth for years. It's nothing new. So yes, you can walk throughout. Swimming is, I mean, I loved swimming throughout my pregnancy, because as soon as you get into the water, you just feel so light and, you know, weightless. It's just amazing. And, you know, carrying your heavy bump around is obviously quite an intense thing. You know, you're carrying some strength there. So, you know, getting in the water is just divine and beautiful. Doing things like squats are really good. It's a fantastic birth prep exercise as well. And also, I would highly recommend anyone to get an exercise ball, because that is really good. Because towards the end of your pregnancy, you don't want to be sitting on a sofa and slouching, because you want to really get that baby in the right position, because it's going to be coming down and out. It's not going to be going that way. So getting on the exercise ball, doing some nice pelvic circles, and that also will help with if you have any pelvic girdle pain. Pelvic circles are really nice. Doing your Kegels, which is your pelvic floor exercises, that's really good to do the whole way through. And that's another thing that will help with your pelvic girdle pain as well. Glute bridges as well. It's all about strengthening that mid area in particular. So your glutes, your hamstring and your core. Now, lots of people think, but why would I want to strengthen my core whilst I'm pregnant? Because you need to push this baby out. Or even if you've got a, you know, if you're having a C-section, you know, you still want to be holding that baby and want to have a strong recovery. So you still want to be working that core. You can still work your core and your abdominals whilst you're pregnant, 100%.
That's a good point you mentioned there about the exercise ball. I had one at the later stages of pregnancy and I loved it. I was on it all the time. And I must admit, I am not like you. You're amazing at fitness. I am so bad. I mean, I do like dancing and I do bits of Pilates, but I was a bit like when I was pregnant. Oh, great. This is a great excuse for me to sit and do nothing. And then I did have issues with pelvic girdle pain. And towards the end of my pregnancy, I was like, I really need something. So somebody recommended an exercise ball. And yes, I used to sit on it rather than a sofa, and it really helped.
And it was also, it just takes that pressure off as well.
Yes. Yeah, and also then during labor, I had it with me. So I was bouncing on it a lot during the labor, and I find it really helpful. So yeah, definitely I would recommend, if you're pregnant, trying to get an exercise ball.
And it's really nice to lean over it as well, and you know, to really get those hips moving. It's just such a good feeling, I have to say.
Yes, you can get into lots of different positions on it. You don't just have to sit on it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. But one thing I will just say is that when you said I'm amazing, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But the most important thing is people shouldn't compare themselves to anyone. Everyone is amazing and everyone's pregnancy journey is totally unique. And this is another thing that I really encourage people, is that that basically there should be no comparisons. Everyone's pregnancy journey is different, postpartum journey is different, and everyone's, you know, so amazing with what they do. And so, for example, my first pregnancy was totally different from my second pregnancy. You think once you've done it once, you think it'll be the same again. Totally different. So it's all about just listening to your body and being in the moment, listening to your hormones and things like that.
That's a really good point. As you say, it's different for everyone. So, you know, and even within 2 pregnancies, it can be different, very different, which is often crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about pelvic girdle pain, and I did have a question in from Sophie Elizabeth. So Sophie underscore Elizabeth 25 dropped us a message the other day, and she said, "What can you do to help SPD, which is symphysis pubis dysfunction?" Is that how,
Yes.
I hope I pronounced that right. And then also pelvic girdle pain. She's 3 months after birth and still struggling. So what can you do after the birth to try and help those with SPD and SPD and PGP?
Yes, pelvic girdle pain. So what I would highly recommend is I would hold off on the squats and the lunges. You want to try and keep your pelvis and your hips in line, basically. So doing things like your child's pose is a really nice stretch. And when you do all these stretches and all these moves, it's always about the breathing. So it's not pushing into anything. It's taking the gradual breath, listening to your body once again. So breathing in through the nose and out from the mouth, and just listening and easing into your body. So doing a really nice child's pose where you're kneeling on the floor and your arms forward, that's really nice. Doing pelvic circles, so just standing your feet hip width apart and circling your hips in each direction is really, really good. Then doing your Kegels as well, so your pelvic floor exercises, which is, it's all about, I always say, is trying to hold that blueberry in. So squeezing on the front and on the back muscles so the blueberry doesn't come out. Another way of thinking about it is holding from a wee, from coming out. So squeezing it, and it's just remembering to do that. And you should be doing that throughout pregnancy, postpartum, but even if you haven't even had a baby and not even going to ever have a baby, you should still do your pelvic floor because it will naturally weaken. So doing those Kegels, those pelvic floor exercises are so, so key. And it's just about strengthening the abdominal area as well. So doing your pelvic tilts, so having your shoulders, your feet hip width apart and rocking your hips forward and backwards. So normally when you're pregnant, obviously your center of gravity changes as you've got your bump that's ever growing. Your center of gravity will shift forward. So naturally you'll see a lot of people who will stick their bum out and their bump will come forward. You want to try and tilt the hips so you've got a nice straight back, because otherwise you're going to put too much pressure on your back, which will really affect your pelvic girdle pain as well. And then swimming is another great thing. Once again, front crawl, really good, just legs up and down, you know, just keeping that hip in a nice straight line. And I've also got a video that I can share with you as well, it's a little reel of pelvic girdle pain exercises that
I think I might watch that myself. I still have with my pelvis. I had really bad SPG, really bad. So I had to wear like a support band for quite a lot towards the end of my pregnancy, and even recently I've been wearing sort of one around my hips. So I'll have to have a look at that.
You should, honestly. It's really important just to keep it nice and strong in the glute area and in the abdominal area.
And speaking of the courses that you run, we, at the end of this video, so I've still got more questions to ask, but I just want to let people watching know that at the end of this video, you are going to be doing a giveaway to somebody who's been watching. So can you tell us what you are giving away?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to be giving away 1 month's membership to our brand new on-demand training platform, which is so exciting. It's got over 100 really short videos as recommended by Evening Standard and Harper's Bazaar, which is super exciting. It's short, flexible workouts that you can do whenever, wherever. And it's got things like HIIT, cardio, resistance, band workouts, strength, mobility, yoga, breathing techniques, and they range from 6 minutes long maximum to 25 minutes long, because you don't need to do any more. You literally, as long as you focus for that amount of time, then you are done, and that is all you need to do. It's all about focusing for those short periods of time. And come on, as mums, we haven't got any more time to do 45 minutes, and you don't get the results if you do. You won't get any more results if you do 45 minutes to 25 minutes. It's all about the focus. And
that is brilliant. That's my kind of exercise, little short bursts, and you can do it when it's on demand. You can fit it in around whenever you can do it. If you have time when the baby's napping in the day, you can do it then, or maybe in the evening once they're asleep. You know, it's great to have that flexibility.
Absolutely. And just to have it there whenever, wherever, knowing that it's safe for pregnancy and postpartum as well. So you've got that reassurance that what you're doing is with an expert and not just doing some random crazy HIIT workout that you just don't know what you're doing. So it really is safe for pregnancy and postpartum. And it's, yes, that is what I'll be giving away.
Well, if you'd like to enter that giveaway, just leave a little comment, even just say hi, just let us know you're watching. So I'll give it another little plug in a little while. We're only on for another 10 minutes or so. So if you're watching the next 10 minutes, just leave a little comment, and then we'll choose somebody who's watched throughout the live today, and they will get to win that 1 month membership, which, yeah, I mean, I would love that. So I think it sounds great. But let's go back to some questions then, and moving on to a little bit more on nutrition. So you're also a nutrition expert as well. So one of the questions I was asked is from Alicia, and she said, lately I felt really exhausted and drained. Are there any particular foods or things I can eat to help keep it at bay a bit? I had my placenta encapsulated after Maeva, that's her daughter, was born, and I felt amazing. But since I finished them, I've definitely noticed the difference. So are there any good foods to kind of help to give you energy?
So I wouldn't say there's any particular foods. For me, I always talk about the word nutrition. I never use the word diet, because diet just doesn't come. I think it's got such negative connotations as well. So it's all about nutrition. And I always talk about balanced, colourful eating. So when you have your plate in front of you, does it look balanced? Have you got any, you know, all your carbs there, your protein?
Oh,
and you want to make sure, you know, all your vegetables, and is it a nice colourful plate? So it's not about restrictions. We don't do restrictions at all. So in terms of energy boosting foods, if you start getting tired, maybe it could be hydration. Now, hydration is such an important thing, especially if you're breastfeeding. You want to be drinking a lot more.
Okay.
And if you're pregnant as well, you also want to make sure that your hydration levels are up. But just generally, hydration is so important. A lot of the time, we're actually more thirsty than hungry, funnily enough. So hydration, I cannot encourage more. And what I found is I bought myself recently a really nice bottle. This is just a swell bottle, but I carry it with me everywhere I go. And having a nice bottle, always keeping it topped up. You can put different fruits in it, but just keeping that hydration will really help your energy levels 100%. Really will. It will help your skin. It will help your hair, your nails. It's just really, really important. But other things, things like oats and whole grain foods, because they're really good slow release energy foods. Oats are fantastic, and oats are also really good for breastfeeding as well, to help with your lactation levels. But also, you know, but fatty fishes, you know, keeping up your omega-3 levels. So things like salmon. I love salmon, me too, especially with sushi. And eggs are fantastic as well, and almonds, and things like kale and spinach. I mean, so basically just colourful eating. So if you're, you know, if you think you're lacking in anything, always, if I'm feeling a bit, you know, tired, I'll start with the water, start with hydration, and then I'll possibly go to a smoothie if I'm really, really busy. Now, I'll never replace a smoothie with a meal. I'll always make sure that I'm eating proper foods. But, you know, really, you know, just like by chucking the blueberries, chucking in your tomatoes, with your coconut water I absolutely love, because you get a lot of your vitamins and nutrients there as well. So yes, that is what I would suggest. But we do have a nutrition coaching as well, that we've recently launched. We're actually launching it next week, so this is actually hot off the press.
Exciting. So what will that be? Will that be giving you ideas of meals or things to eat, or how will that work?
Yeah, so like with everything at London Mums Fitness, it's by mums for mums. So we've got a 1 hour session with me that has a follow-up call as well. Then we've got a 1 month coaching course to transform your nutrition, and then we've got a reset, which is a 12-week course, because a lot of your changes will happen in 12 weeks, and it's just about looking at your food diary, and it's about making swaps. So once again, it's nothing to do with restrictions. It's about making the swaps and seeing what fits and works for you, because like with everything, there's no one size fits all. It's what works for you. So it's just working with you, keeping you in check regularly, you know, having WhatsApp calls, things like this. And just make it work for you, to make sure that you're balancing all your foods and your exercise with your lifestyle, because 80% of the results comes from your nutrition, and only 20% is exercise.
Oh, wow.
So nutrition, I know. So nutrition is so key.
I did not know that, actually. I would have
Yeah.
thought it was more exercise and then you can eat
Yeah.
whatever you wanted, really.
No,
That's what I was
no.
kind of hoping.
Yeah.
But it's good to know I need to be careful with my nutrition as well. And speaking of
Absolutely.
that, and speaking of your courses, if you've only just joined, we are going to be doing a giveaway at the end of this call in probably 5-10 minutes time. So if you would like to win a month's membership to Sarah's on-demand sort of fitness courses, which means you can log in anytime and they're between 6 minutes and was it 25 minutes?
25, yeah.
Then just leave a little comment and say hi, just so we know that you're watching, and that will be you entering. And then, yeah, we will give away one of those courses at the end of this little chat. But we were talking there a little bit about breastfeeding, and you were saying, you know, about how it's good to drink lots of water. Going back a little bit to exercise when breastfeeding, I mean, can you still do the sort of exercise that somebody who maybe isn't breastfeeding, or what you were doing before, you know, can you still do it all, or can it affect your milk supply if you're doing too much exercise and things like that, or does it not really matter?
No, of course you can exercise whilst you're breastfeeding, absolutely. I mean, I would just recommend that you breastfeed or express before you exercise, merely for comfort, because just think about it, if you're going to be jumping up and down, lifting heavy weights, and your boobs are full, not very comfortable, especially if they're going to be compressed in a sports bra. So yes, I would just highly recommend that you feed or express before exercising. But if you haven't, then that's absolutely fine. It's not going to really affect your milk supply per se. But yeah, just make sure that you really keep those hydration levels up, because you know you're sweating it out, and you want to really keep, you know, keep those levels nice and high. So yeah, you can exercise whilst you're breastfeeding.
Just maybe make sure they're not going to be too sore and heavy, and maybe wear a good sports bra. Although speaking of breastfeeding, I'm wearing one of my breastfeeding tops. Are you wearing the same one? Did I know that we've got matching tops?
Yay!
We're both wearing our Milky Tees. I love, that's hilarious. We did not plan this.
So comfy, honestly. I know, we didn't. Good minds think alike. No, I absolutely love these tops because I love the way it zip up down, which I absolutely love. I mean, it's just amazing. I just live in them. I've got this one, the black one, and the winging it one. Love.
I'm so glad you like them. And also you can get breastfeeding sports bras, so you could wear a breastfeeding sports bra underneath this, then unclip it, you know, pull the zip down, so you could do some exercise while wearing it, and then, you know, do a feed afterwards or before, whenever you need to. So yeah. And they're 100% cotton as well, so again, you know, good for exercise because they're more breathable. But yeah, just had to mention my tops there.
Totally. I'm a huge fan. I love.
I'm so glad you do. But yeah, another question then, I think this is one of the last ones, and then if there's anything else you want to share, you can share anything else. But it's going back to sort of a nutrition question, and it's from Workout with Alice. She asked, is it safe to take protein powder during pregnancy to boost protein intake?
Personally, I wouldn't. Okay. You can take, I would definitely go for the natural foods. Because if you think about it, anything that you're taking in, that you're, you know, that you're ingesting, will go to the baby. So it's a bit like with alcohol. You know, you shouldn't. It's highly recommended that you do not drink alcohol whilst you're pregnant. And for protein and supplementation, unless it's, you know, by your doctor or your GP, then I would get all your protein from food. So from your eggs, from your chicken, from your, you know, turkey, just from natural places. You know, even from your nuts. Like nuts are so high in protein. Like almond is the highest nut with protein, and then it goes to peanuts and the Brazil nuts. So yes, I would definitely be getting your extra protein from elsewhere, and I would try and move away from the protein powders, because it's just the nasties that's not necessary. You want to try and keep yourself as clean as possible throughout your pregnancy journey.
And what about after birth? Somebody's just asked a question. Can you take protein shakes, you know, after you've given birth to try and increase your protein then? Or would you say same thing?
Once again, I would highly recommend to try and get it from your foods and from the natural ways, absolutely. But there are some protein powders that are safe. I won't recommend any here. But no, there are some that are fine. But no, I would always suggest people to go down the natural route, quality, colourful nutrition.
And nuts, you know, something
Nuts.
quite easy, quite good as a snack. And, you know, I've got you've had a baby
snack.
and breastfeeding. You know, I've talked lots about snacking when breastfeeding, and when you're sitting there and you're like, some people have like a snack basket, which they bring with them, which I love. So you can fill that with almonds and peanuts. And
peanuts, you know, exactly.
You can literally be breastfeeding or bottle feeding, whatever you choose to do, and picking up your nuts at the same time. And actually, I didn't realize you're getting so much protein from that.
Exactly, and in both of our pregnancy home workout guide and our postpartum home workout guide, there's a whole section about healthy snacking, because snacking, you know, when you're pregnant is key, and when you're postpartum is so key as well. And it's just about knowing which snacks to go to, and to try and not go for those chocolates, and just making, it's all about the choices that you make. So things like, you know, apple slices with peanut or almond butter is fantastic, or with rice cakes is awesome. Some nice dry trail mix like fruits and nuts and seeds, that's really good as well. Just to try and, you know, to take off from the chocolate, which is always, you know, easier.
But you still can have the odd bit of chocolate. So tell me, I'm still allowed that.
100% totally have the chocolate. I'm a huge fan of dairy milk, but it's just all about controlling those energy levels. You know, you don't want your energy levels to spike up too much, because then when you come down, you'll be super hungry and you'll go for something bad again. You want to try and keep it nice and regulated. So that's why, you know, it's all about suggesting the nuts and things like that.
Really, yeah, really good advice. I do definitely need to look into my fitness. I think in lockdown as well, or sorry, my nutrition and my fitness. Lockdown has not helped either of those, I must say. But as we're coming out of it, I think a lot of people are now starting to think, right, I've had a year where I've been a couch potato, or I've just been having takeaways, and I think now is a really good time for people to go, okay, we're getting out again, we're coming into summer. I mean, the weather hasn't quite worked that out yet, but we are
it's crazy.
Meant to be coming
today.
into
It's
summer.
Good.
Today
we're winning.
It's lovely to see the sun today. We just need to get the temperature up a bit, but you know, we're getting into summer, so now is a great time to kind of say, right, I'm going to kickstart, you know, my sort of health drive. I'm going to try and be, you know, do a bit more exercise. As you say, it doesn't have to be, you know, hours upon hours or going to the gym. You can do things online. You can do short workouts. You know, you obviously have just launched your online quick, you know, routines.
Platform, yeah.
And, you know, you can do that. And then, as we say, with nutrition, it doesn't have to be this massive, like, huge overhaul of everything you eat. It's a case of just maybe making small changes, reaching for the nuts rather than the crisps, you know, maybe like, as you say, having maybe apple dipped in peanut butter rather than a chocolate bar. It's just making small changes. And I think when you look at it like that, it's much easier.
Totally. It's all about these small changes. And actually what we're doing at the moment is we have 6 at 6 at the moment, which is at 6 a.m. and at 6 p.m. we've got 6-minute workouts. So I do save most of them to the IGTV, but it's encouraged that you join live, and it's just 6 minutes of exercise. And as you say, it's about having those small changes in the small pockets of time to focus on you. And when you do them, you'll realize that you'll get your energy at the end of your workout. And once you do that, so you've got your energy boost from your workout, you'll want to do more. So you'll come again the next day. And it's just about those small changes that will then become habits. Yeah. And that is when you know that you're winning. And it's just about celebrating those small changes. You know, we're all so busy, you know, we could be breastfeeding the baby. Suddenly you need to change the baby. But it's absolutely fine if you have loads of interruptions during a workout, as long as you get it done. That's the most important thing. It's just getting it done and celebrating that win.
Yeah. After 6 minutes, you can be like, yes, I've done that. I'm ready for the day. I love that idea.
Totally. You should join in. It's so good.
And Holly just gave a really good tip as well about preparing meals. Prepping meals makes life so much easier, because then you're not then getting to a stage where you're so hungry that you're just like, I'm just going to grab anything. If you know that you've prepared things, if you've got healthy meals already prepared, or things that are much easier and you can quickly stick in the oven, but they're made much more healthily, you know, it means then you're not making food when you're starving and it's taking ages, and then you're just
Totally.
grabbing the
Yeah,
the
and you know what's
stodgy
in it
food
as
you
well.
can.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what's in it, which is so important.
So great tips. I've really loved this. I've
Thank you
personally
so
learned
much.
loads. I hope lots of other people watching, I hope all you guys have taken something out of it. We will share this, so it will be on IGTV as well, so you can go back if there's anything, if you missed the beginning, you want to watch back, you can watch everything back. And yeah, I guess the last thing we need to do is choose a winner.
Yes.
Can you see them, or do you want me to try and choose someone?
I can see them.
Well, there's someone, we said about making a comment. So I see there was someone there said, great advice. Thank you. Will we go for them?
Go for it. You choose.
That is at Mason Rachel. So I don't know whether you're Rachel
Perfect.
Mason, but congratulations. So Sarah will be in touch with you to let you know how you can get the month's free membership to her course. So she will send you all the details for that. But Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us, to share your knowledge and your information about nutrition and fitness. And yeah, if people want to check out your courses or connect with you, how can they do that?
So yes, so come and follow us on Instagram at London Mums Fitness, and then we've also got our website, which is londonmumsfitness.com, ldnmumsfitness.com, and we've got our YouTube channel as well. But as I said, yes, we've got our group training, we've got our personal training, which is online, which we currently have a special offer on at the moment, which is 10 45-minute sessions for £450. Normally it's 600. And then we've got our in-person personal training as well, and we've got our on-demand platform as well, which is £14.99 for a month, which is actually works out at £3.45 a week. So it's such good value. And as you say, you can train whenever, wherever with me, and know that you're going to get your short and flexible workouts as recommended by Harper's Bazaar and Evening Standard. And then we've got our brand new nutrition coaching, which is launching next week as well.
I'm excited to hear more about that. And thank you very much. I'm
hoping
to have you on here at some stage in the future as well, actually showing us some sort of movements, some exercises that you can do.
Awesome.
So we will hopefully get that on in the next few weeks once we can work it all out. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing lots more of you.
Lauren.
Thanks, Sarah. I will speak to you soon.
Absolutely.
Have a nice Friday.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Oh, there we go. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. It was so great to chat to Sarah, and thank you everyone for watching. And yeah, if you want to know anything more from Sarah, you can check out her Instagram. If you want to know anything more about us here at the Milky Tee Company, about any of our t-shirts, anything like that, then always feel free to get in touch. Send us a wee message via DM, and we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can. But yeah, hope you all have such a lovely Friday and nice weekend. Take care. Bye. I'm not sure how I end it now.